In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the Adobe Animate lip sync feature using Visemes. I'm going to start with an action script canvas. I'm going to go ahead and name my first layer. I'm going to name it Buzz, because I'm going to use a Buzz Lightyear character as our subject. Go ahead and resize that so it fits our stage. Next thing, I'm going to create a layer for the mouth. And then I need an audio layer for Animate to sync to when we start the lip syncing. The next thing I need to do is import these mouth shapes called Visemes that I've created in Photoshop. I've borrowed them from a resource that I found on Google. Now, phonemes are what letters sound like, and Visemes are what they look like. So these mouth shapes mimic certain letters. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is grab the neutral mouth, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on my subject on the mouth layer. Put it right about there. And now I'm going to right click that, and I'm going to make it a symbol. But unlike previously where we made movie and button symbols, this time I'm going to create a graphic symbol. I'm going to go ahead and name it gr_mouth, just to give it a name that we can recognize. Make sure that you have graphic, and I'm going to click OK. Alright, so now we can double click that and go into our embedded layer. You can see that I'm in the embedded layer here. Now what we need to do is we need to take each one of those mouth shapes and import it onto a frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click the next frame, and I'm going to use a blank keyframe, not a standard keyframe, because I don't want to bring the mouth from the previous layer with me, but I still need to be able to see it. That way I can bring each successive mouth into the same place. So I'm going to use the onion skin feature. So I'm going to go ahead and drag in the next mouth symbol, and I'm going to drop it on that frame. And I can put it right where it belongs because I'm using onion skinning. I'm going to click on the next frame and insert a blank keyframe and bring over the next Viseme, the next mouth shape. I'm going to put this video and fast forward a bit so that it doesn't take quite so long to watch. But each new frame gets a blank keyframe. Then I'm going to import the mouths. The only one we don't need is the neutral mouth because we already have that for the first mouth shape. So now that I have them all placed and they are all in about the same place, I can turn the onion skin off and see that that looks pretty good. Okay, but in order to start the lip syncing, we've got to go back to the main scene. Now, to import audio, this is a little bit different than any other time we bring anything onto a layer, in that we can't drag it directly onto the layer, either from an external folder or from our library. This is the only time this is true. Any other time we can drag things directly onto our layer, but we can't this time. What you have to do is go import and import to stage, grab your sound. I'm going to go ahead and replace it since I already have it in my library. And now you can see a little orange line on the top layer. That little orange line indicates that there is a beginning of a sound file there. And I need some more frames so I can see the rest of it. So as you can see, when I insert frames, I need a little bit more because my sound file is taking up more space than the frames that I inserted. Oh, a couple more. And now I should be able to see the end of my sound file. Yep, I can see it right there. So I can go ahead and remove the frames that I don't need. I'm going to render it because I want to see what my frames are going to look like before I start the lip sync.
Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond. Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond. Stand back.
Alright, so it looks like we're ready to go. I'm going to check my audio layer in the Properties Frame tab and make sure it's set to Stream and not Start or Stop. I'm going to go ahead and click Mouth, click on the layer, and go to Properties, Object, And you see this lip sync button. And now we have our lip sync control panel here. And now is how we lock the different mouth shapes to the sounds that Adobe Animate will use. So the first one is the neutral. So I'm going to click neutral and choose the closed mouth. For the ah sound, I'm going to look for a mouth shape that most looks like ah. And I think that looks like 3. Ah. For the d sound, I think I like number 5 with the tongue behind the teeth for a d, d. And for F, we want a, yep, perfect. L, tongue behind the teeth. M, we want a closed mouth, so I think I like number 7 for that. For O, we would need a wide open mouth. For R, we need a more R open but narrow. So I'm going to choose number 9. And for S, we need a closed mouth again. And for I'm going to choose number 3, kind of a almost closed mouth. And for woo, a wide open mouth. And then just click done. Now Adobe Animate automatically inserts all the mouth sounds to go with the audio that you have linked. Let's check it out.
Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond. Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond. Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond. Stand back, everyone. To...
All right, so that looks pretty good. If you find that it doesn't look quite right, you can always go back in and click on the lip syncing tab and go ahead and adjust the sounds again. If you're not liking the lip sync or you think it looks a little bit too unrealistic, just feel free to go back in and choose different mouth shapes until you find what works and what goes with your particular audio file.
Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond. Stand back, everyone. To infinity.
I also want the animation to stop when he's done talking rather than looping again and again. So I'm going to go ahead and put a keyframe at the end, go to my action script, and then just add a stop. So it's a little bit more realistic that my character just goes ahead and stops when he's done.
Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond.